Well, Jet Airways flew across Indian skies for over 25 years. It used to be the beacon of luxury, of opulence, of comfort in the Indian skies. In fact, its tagline used to be the joy of flying. But after today's Supreme Court judgment, it will be flying no more. The Supreme Court asking for liquidation of this airline, directing for this airline to be sold for scrap. So how did it come to this stage? Bear in mind, it was in 2019 and that on the back of financial constraints, the airline had to cease operations. It was facing financial pressure. The lenders had started insolvency proceedings in 2019 itself, and then subsequently, after nearly 2 years of deliberation, in 2021, a successful bidder emerged in the form of Jalan-Kalrock consortium, and therein lied the hope, and therein there was the hope that perhaps the airline will take to the skies once again. However, since the approval of the Jalan-Kalrock consortium, there has been a constant friction between the successful bidder, which in this case happens to be the Jalan-Kalrock consortium, and on the other hand, the lenders. The lenders constantly have been crying foul that despite the resolution plan having been approved by the NCLT, the terms of resolution plan are not being complied with. The payment is not coming in. That's the concern that the lenders had raised. However, despite these concerns, the NCLT had allowed for this transfer of ownership to take place and had paved the way for Jalan-Kalrock consortium to take charge of this airline, again giving hope that perhaps the airline will take to the skies once again. However, the lenders raised their concerns once again before the apex court. Here they raised multiple concerns. Number one, they argued that as per the first tranche of payment that was supposed to come in, 350 crore rupees of money had to come in. Of that, only 200 had come in so far. Importantly, the NCLT had said that 200 has been paid already and that 150 crore rupees of payment performance bank guarantees have been issued. Perhaps those bank guarantees can be adjusted as a part of the initial first tranche of payment. That has been struck down as patently erroneous by the apex court. The Supreme Court saying, how can a bank guarantee be adjusted for the first tranche of payment? So that's the first concern that the lenders had raised. Other concerns that the lenders had raised is that there are various security clearances that are required. There are airport slots to be required. There are employees' dues north of 200 crore rupees which have still not been paid. And all of these concerns have weighed on the mind of the apex court. The Supreme Court, taking note of all these proceedings, came out with some very stern observations. The Supreme Court said it's been over 5 years since the insolvency proceedings have begun, that there's a time-bound nature to these proceedings, that is some aspect that the Supreme Court cannot ignore. The Supreme Court also cannot ignore that how 226 crores of employees' dues have also not been paid by this Jalan-Kalrock consortium, and that there can be no dispute with the fact, there can be no debating with the fact that this successful bidder is in fact in breach of the resolution application, is in fact in breach of the resolution terms, and therefore the Supreme Court is left with no option. The Supreme Court exercising exceptional powers under Article 142, clarifying that it is now directing for liquidation of this entire airline. What that effectively means is that whatever is left of the airline will be sold for scrap by the lenders for recovery of whatever dues are left. As far as the amount that had already been pumped in, that's 200 crores, the Supreme Court clarifying that that money stands forfeited, and not just that, as an additional reprieve to the lenders, the Supreme Court saying that the performance bank guarantee of 150 crore rupees can also be invoked by the lenders. So with that, the Supreme Court having the final word on the airline, whether or not it will take off, the answer is no. Jet Airways will fly no more on Indian skies.
Hey, thank you for watching this on CNBC TV18. Hope you liked it. For more such interesting news and updates, follow CNBC TV18 on all the social media platforms.